At midnight, when silence cloaks the earth and the streets appear lifeless, another realm awakens. Beyond what the physical eye perceives, unseen battles rage. Shadows move. Spirits are stirred. Chains of curses tighten. Witchcraft workers whisper their incantations into the dark. Yet within this same hour exists a hidden secret, a weapon so simple, so underestimated, yet so spiritually potent that most women have never been told of it. Incense. A single stick of sacred fire, when lit at the appointed time, becomes more than fragrance. It transforms into a spiritual sword that breaks witchcraft, dismantles curses, and forces the spirit of poverty to scatter. In moments, what felt like years of oppression begins to loosen. Too many women suffer in silence. They feel the weight in their homes, sense the heaviness pressing against their lives, yet cannot name the chains holding them. Finances collapse without reason. Peace slips through their hands like water. The truth is that the enemy operates unseen, weaving nets in silence, constructing invisible prisons around destinies. But what has been hidden is now being revealed. Midnight itself carries mystery. It is not just a number on the clock. Midnight is the doorway between one day and the next, the line that separates endings from beginnings. In the unseen, it is the courtroom of the spirit, the very hour when verdicts are declared, when the arrows of witchcraft are released. That is why those who carry knowledge do not sleep through midnight. They rise, they stand, they overturn the decrees spoken against their lives. When incense is burned at this exact hour, its smoke rises as testimony. Imagine this: while gatherings of darkness release arrows against your name, your incense rises to the heavens, filling the air, creating a wall, a shield that blocks curses, silences poverty, and sends confusion into the camp of your enemies. This is no ordinary fragrance. This is warfare concealed in smoke. Each rising thread of incense becomes a silent warrior, unseen yet unyielding, suffocating witchcraft before it can land, scattering curses before they can root. For centuries, incense has been misunderstood. Many have been taught to fear it, while others have seen it twisted and used for harm. But incense in the right hands is no toy, it is a spiritual key. It locks out darkness. It unlocks protection, prosperity, and victory. This is not about superstition, nor about mere ritual. This is about spiritual law, about aligning with the deeper forces that govern both the visible and invisible. When women take this key into their hands at midnight, they do not just burn fragrance, they seize control of their atmosphere, they protect their bloodline, they command their destinies. Evil thrives in silence and in shadow. But incense, burned with faith, becomes light. It pushes darkness back, it reveals what hides, it shifts the entire foundation of a home. That is why timing is everything. You must not burn casually, but with intention, with focus, and with fire in your spirit. Because the truth is simple, you are not powerless. You were never powerless. Midnight does not belong only to witches. It belongs to those who awaken, who rise, who dare to command their night. Many women awaken in the morning already weary, their energy drained before the day begins. They wonder why sleep brings no rest, why nightmares stalk them, why oppression presses on their chest at night. The truth is this: while they lay silent, their names are whispered on altars of darkness. Midnight is the enemy's chosen hour because it is the hinge of time, the place where one day's fate bleeds into the next. If curses are released at that moment, they travel unhindered into the hours that follow. But here lies the hidden reversal: the same hour that empowers darkness can also empower you. Instead of being the hunted, you become the hunter. Instead of the victim of midnight arrows, you become the warrior who overturns decrees before they take root. When incense is lifted in faith at midnight, it rewrites the story. What was meant to bind you becomes fuel for your release. Think of it this way. Just as the body needs food for strength, the spirit requires its own nourishment. Too often women battle spiritual attacks with physical means alone, working harder, striving longer, yet never breaking the cycle. Poverty persists, curses repeat, witchcraft intensifies. Why? Because these are not physical chains. They are energetic and spiritual chains, requiring a spiritual weapon. Incense is one of those weapons, not any incense, but one chosen, consecrated, and ignited at the exact hour of battle. This is not about smoke filling the air randomly. It is about smoke rising with authority, carrying your voice into the unseen. Every tendril becomes a messenger, bearing declarations of freedom, prosperity, and protection. The incense transforms into a living shield, blocking the poison arrows of witchcraft and scattering spirits of lack that hover over homes. Energy flows where intention goes. If you burn casually, it is only fragrance. But if you burn with intention, you activate vibration. The rising smoke aligns with the universal principle of transmutation. Darkness is suffocated, heaviness dissolves, and your atmosphere shifts instantly. In Eastern wisdom, smoke is considered a bridge, a way for the seen and unseen to meet, a way for prayers and declarations to ride upward like arrows of light. This is why those who understand its mystery are never easily shaken. Even witches know this truth. They burn incense not for beauty but for power, because they understand that smoke carries voices, symbols, and commands into the realm beyond the eye. But here lies your victory: incense in righteous hands cancels incense in wicked hands. Your smoke becomes fire to their smoke, dissolving incantations, silencing curses, and wrapping your home in untouchable light. Picture your home at midnight, cloaked in stillness. While others conspire, your incense rises. It becomes a purifier, driving out invisible pollution. Just as smoke drives insects away, spiritual incense drives evil spirits away. Altars crumble, chains loosen, monitoring spirits lose their grip. And when the heaviness lifts, peace begins to settle like morning dew. This is why some households struggle endlessly despite endless effort. Poverty is not just a lack of money, it is an atmosphere, a spirit that hovers, waiting for entry. But incense burned with faith purifies that air. Spirits of poverty cannot dwell in an atmosphere of light. They scatter when the vibration of incense fills the room. Smoke is visible, but its essence is invisible. In that invisibility lies its power. While enemies may never see your prayer, they cannot withstand your incense. It rises like a cloud of fire, suffocating witchcraft arrows, confusing messengers of darkness, and reversing curses before they ever land. Your home begins to glow, unseen yet radiant, a fortress against the shadows. Women who awaken to this mystery witness transformation almost immediately. Nightmares cease. The strange whispers and footsteps in the night grow silent. The air that once felt heavy becomes light, as if chains were broken in an instant. Even finances begin to shift, because poverty is not only material, it is spiritual. When its grip loosens, doors open, opportunities flow, and what once slipped away begins to remain. This is why timing matters. Incense at midnight is not merely about scent or ritual, it is about destiny. It is the difference between being chained and being free, between living under a curse and walking into blessing. Midnight incense appeals to the laws of spirit. Just as offerings placed on altars hold power, incense burned at the appointed hour carries weight in the unseen. To darkness, it is suffocating smoke. To you, it is fragrance of freedom. Every time you light it, you declare, "No curse shall remain here, no poverty shall linger here, no witchcraft shall stand here." Do not see incense as powder or stick alone. See it as fire disguised in fragrance. When the flame touches it, the ordinary dissolves, and the sacred emerges. At midnight, incense becomes a spiritual alarm clock, waking heaven to your cry while striking fear into the camp of shadows. Here is the deeper truth: many of the battles you face are not yours alone. They are ancient, carried through bloodlines, whispered through generations. What feels like your personal struggle may in fact be the weight of ancestral chains. But when incense rises at midnight, those invisible cords begin to snap. What held your mother, what haunted your grandmother, will not survive in your presence. The smoke becomes a warrior not only for you, but for your children, for generations yet unborn. This is why women are entrusted with this mystery. Women carry the mantle of guardianship, of home, of lineage, of life itself. With incense, you step fully into that role. You are no longer waiting for someone else to shield your family. You become the shield. You become the prophet of your household, speaking decrees that shake the unseen and awaken light where darkness thought it reigned. The enemy understands this far more than most women do. That is why witches gather at midnight, why curses are sent in the dark, why arrows are loosed while the world sleeps. They know the hour. But what if you reversed it? What if the very moment chosen for your destruction became the hour of your greatest authority? This is the inversion of power. Midnight becomes your throne, incense your weapon, and your home the fortress no shadow can penetrate. Energy does not lie. The moment incense rises, the atmosphere testifies. You will sense it. The weight lifts, clarity comes, fear dissolves. A shift occurs not only in your home, but in your spirit. You feel it, the authority, the peace, the certainty that you are no longer hunted, but have become the hunter. Now understand this, incense is not superstition, nor is it magic. Magic manipulates. Incense aligns. It works because it appeals to universal law, the same spiritual principles that govern balance, vibration, and cause and effect. Just as gravity is unseen yet undeniable, so too is the law that incense awakens when used with intention. When smoke rises, it becomes more than fragrance. It becomes evidence. In the unseen courtroom of midnight, incense speaks on your behalf. It is as if every particle of smoke is a witness declaring, this home is covered, this life is protected, this destiny is untouchable. Evil altars lose their voice because your incense speaks louder. Witchcraft loses its footing because your fire consumes their arrows before they can land. Think of incense as armor. Just as a warrior cannot go into battle unprotected, so too must your spirit wear its shield. The smoke wraps around your home like invisible cloth, a mantle of light that darkness cannot pierce. Poverty spirits, curses, and witchcraft find no resting place where incense rises. They suffocate in purity, scattered by the vibration of sacred fire. But do not burn casually. Without focus, incense is only smoke. With faith, it becomes fire. This is the great divide. Too many treat incense like decoration, but those who awaken know, it is a weapon. And every weapon requires discipline. Set your mind. Guard your atmosphere. Speak with authority. For your words combined with incense create a double-edged sword that cuts both seen and unseen chains. Consider this mystery, incense is not only fragrance, it is memory. As it rises, it carries your voice, your intention, your prayer. Long after the smoke has disappeared to the eye, its vibration remains in the unseen, echoing, enforcing, sealing the decrees you spoke in faith. That is why women who understand this practice notice their dreams begin to change. No longer plagued by fear, they receive visions, instructions, clarity. The incense clears the interference, leaving space for revelation. This is also why generational cycles break. The smoke rises not just for you, but for your bloodline. Each night you burn it, you are rewriting history, declaring that what bound your ancestors will end with you, and what blessings they were denied will begin with you. In that sense, incense is not only protection, it is restoration. The spiritual world respects intention. Witches burn incense to project darkness because they understand this law. But their smoke cannot override righteous smoke. When your incense rises at midnight, it confronts theirs head-on, extinguishing it in the unseen, sending confusion back into their camp. Your home becomes a fortress of light, not because shadows no longer exist, but because they can no longer enter. Preparation is everything. If you wait until the clock strikes midnight to scramble, the moment will slip past. Midnight is not simply a number on the clock, it is alignment with spiritual law. That is why the first step is to prepare yourself. Quiet the noise, dim the lights, silence distractions. Stillness is your foundation. Power flows where attention is undivided. Step 1 is preparation of spirit. Set your heart, set your faith, set your focus. Intend with clarity what you are commanding: curses broken, witchcraft silenced, poverty dissolved. Without intention, incense is perfume. With intention, incense is fire. Step 2 is placement. Position the incense where smoke can rise freely, not hidden in a corner. Let it stand as your voice in the center of the room. Remember, smoke is not random fragrance. It is your declaration made visible. Every puff is a message to the unseen, every thread of rising incense is an arrow shot into darkness. Step 3 is timing. At the exact strike of midnight, ignite the flame. Do not delay. The fire touching incense is your moment of declaration. You are saying, I rise with the night, I claim authority, I overturn decrees. In that instant, smoke becomes weapon, fragrance becomes force, and midnight bends to your command. Step 4 is your mouth. Do not burn incense in silence. Speak boldly, for sound creates vibration and vibration enforces law. Declare aloud, every curse is broken. Every witchcraft assignment is cancelled. Every poverty chain is shattered. Speak as one who commands, not one who begs. Authority is the language the spirit realm obeys. Step 5 is movement. Do not let the incense stay confined to one place. Carry it through your doors, your windows, your hallways. Let smoke touch the hidden corners of your home. For curses hide in corners unseen, waiting for shadows to linger. When smoke fills every space, darkness loses all shelter. Step 6 is to seal the entry points. Doors, windows, mirrors, these are gateways. Let smoke rise around them like invisible fire. Declare that no spirit of poverty will cross this threshold, no witchcraft arrow will enter, no curse will survive the barrier of light. In these steps, you are not performing ritual. You are enforcing law. Midnight becomes your courtroom, incense your evidence, your words the decree. Together, they form a weapon darkness cannot contest. And here is the hidden key: after you have spoken, do not rush. Step 7 is stillness. Let the incense burn, let the smoke linger, let silence settle. Feel the atmosphere shift. Heaviness lifts. Peace flows. Chains loosen. If you listen deeply, you will sense it, the moment of breakthrough. Step 8 is sealing with faith. Gratitude is the final lock that secures the breakthrough. Even before your eyes see results, your heart must declare, it is done. Whisper thanks as the smoke rises, because gratitude aligns you with abundance. Faith is the fuel that makes incense unstoppable. Without faith, it is ritual. With faith, it is revolution. Step 9 is rest. Do not end the midnight ritual with anxiety, but with surrender. When the incense finishes burning, go to sleep in peace, knowing the war is already won. You will wake lighter, freer, surrounded by favor. Nightmares that haunted you will vanish, curses that bound you will scatter, and witchcraft that once sought your life will collapse in silence. Stories confirm this truth. A woman tormented every night by shadows pressing her chest testified that the very night she burned incense at midnight, the oppression ended instantly. She slept in peace for the first time in years. Another woman, trapped in cycles of poverty, saw money vanish as quickly as it came. Nothing changed until she followed this midnight practice. Within days, unexpected financial help arrived. Poverty spirits that had stalked her bloodline for generations fled in minutes. One young mother described living in a house filled with strange noises, footsteps, whispers, doors opening though no one stood there. Fear consumed her. But the night she burned incense, the house fell silent. Her children rested without disturbance, the air became light, and the evil presence was gone. Another story tells of a woman whose business collapsed mysteriously. Clients circled but never committed, doors of opportunity closed without reason. She rose at midnight, incense in hand, declaring boldly over her shop. Within the same week, she received more customers than she could handle. What years of effort could not accomplish, one midnight cleansing achieved. There was also a woman who endured endless rejection. Every relationship she entered crumbled, as if something unseen chased people away. But when she lit incense at midnight and declared against curses of delay, the chains snapped. Soon after, meaningful connections began to form, and she found peace she thought was lost forever. Another testimony speaks of a family plagued by constant illness. One child healed only for another to fall sick. Hospitals drained their wealth, yet no doctor could explain the cycle. After faithfully burning incense at midnight, the chain of sickness ended. Health returned, finances improved, and the family began to thrive. A widow once carried the weight of grief like a shroud. After her husband's death, darkness filled her nights. Her dreams were haunted with graves and shadows. But the night she lit incense at midnight, everything shifted. The nightmares ceased, her sleep turned peaceful, and her mornings were filled with light instead of despair. What therapy could not heal in years, incense restored in a single night. Another young woman lived under the burden of delayed destiny. Every suitor who approached her disappeared suddenly, as if unseen hands drove them away. When she burned incense at midnight, declaring her freedom, the cycle broke. Soon after, her destiny shifted, and she met one who honored her. Chains of rejection dissolved, and love found its rightful place in her life. Even land has testified. A family's farmland was cursed by envious neighbors. Year after year, nothing grew. Each harvest failed, no matter the labor. One midnight, they carried incense across their fields, letting the smoke weave through the soil, speaking blessings as they walked. That season, the land yielded abundantly, the curse overturned, and envy's grip was shattered. These stories are not coincidences. They are echoes of a spiritual law that has always existed. When incense rises at midnight, curses fall, witchcraft fails, poverty flees. What years of toil could not accomplish, minutes of incense burning has undone. This is not superstition. This is the hidden architecture of spiritual warfare, the unseen scaffolding on which destinies hang. But with revelation comes responsibility. Not every incense is holy. Some incenses are forged in darkness, dedicated at altars of witchcraft. If burned, they do not cleanse, they contaminate. They do not protect, they invite. Many women have unknowingly purchased incense disguised as harmless fragrance, only to open gateways for monitoring spirits. This is why discernment is vital. You cannot pick casually and expect victory. Witches themselves use incense. They burn it to open portals, summon spirits, release curses. The same tool in their hands is destruction, but in righteous hands becomes salvation. What is meant for evil can be turned for good. But you must handle it with reverence, wisdom, and courage. Timing also matters. Burn at random hours, and the effect is diminished. Midnight is the courtroom of the spirit, the moment when verdicts are passed. Strike at any other time, and your incense may cleanse the air, but it will not scatter witchcraft. Align with law, and your incense becomes fire. Misalign, and it is only smoke. There is yet another danger, deception wrapped in half-truths. Social media is filled with rituals that mix fragments of wisdom with shadows of falsehood. Some teach to burn incense while chanting strange names or symbols that align with foreign spirits. This is perilous. It opens doors you never intended to open. Remember, incense is not magic. It is not superstition. It is law. And law obeys intention, alignment, and purity. Approach incense with the wrong posture, and it becomes ordinary smoke. Approach with focus, with reverence, with authority, and it transforms into a weapon. Your heart matters as much as your incense. Just as a sword is useless in the hands of one unwilling to fight, incense without intention is powerless. But when faith grips it, when courage wields it, no darkness can withstand it. Understand also that incense is not for curiosity or display. It is for war. In the right hands, it can save families, break chains, scatter curses. In careless hands, it can destroy lives. Handle it as you would handle fire, with respect. Fire in a hearth gives warmth, but fire left unattended burns down a house. The signs will speak for themselves. After burning, if heaviness lifts, if nightmares vanish, if peace fills the air, you have aligned with the right incense. But if shadows multiply, if oppression deepens, it means counterfeit fragrance was lit, incense once dedicated to altars of darkness. This is why discernment is your shield. Pray before choosing, ask for light to guide your hands, and your incense will rise as holy fire. When done rightly, incense becomes what years of struggle could not produce, freedom in minutes. Generational curses collapse. Witchcraft plots backfire. Poverty spirits suffocate in purified air. What once stalked you will no longer survive in your atmosphere. Do not mistake this for chance. The unseen operates with precision. Midnight incense is not random, it is law in action, a bridge between physical obedience and spiritual victory. You rise at midnight, you burn with intention, you speak with authority, and heaven responds. Shadows scatter, chains dissolve, and destinies are restored. Burning incense at midnight is more than defense, it is awakening. It is the reminder that your life is not merely physical but profoundly spiritual. What you see with your eyes is only the echo of what first takes place in the unseen. When you rise at midnight, you declare, I will not sleep while my destiny is under attack. I will not remain a victim. I will stand as gatekeeper of my home. Women often underestimate their own spiritual authority. They believe protection belongs only to priests, pastors, or prophets. Yet incense reveals otherwise. Your voice matters. Your prayer matters. Your incense matters. At midnight, you become the prophet of your household, the warrior at the gate, the guardian of your lineage. No curse can resist you when you stand in this authority. Incense awakens courage. As the smoke ascends, fear falls away. You feel it in your body, a strength you thought you had lost, a boldness you didn't know you carried. It is the awakening of your inner warrior, the reminder that you were always more powerful than the witchcraft that sought to silence you. Incense also awakens clarity. Women testify that after midnight incense, their dreams shifted. No longer haunted, they began receiving visions, instructions, and revelations. The smoke cleared the interference, leaving the airwaves of the spirit open and pure. What was once confusion became guidance. What was once fear became wisdom. And know this, when you burn incense, you are not only fighting for yourself. You are fighting for your children, your bloodline, and generations yet to come. Every puff of smoke rewrites history. It declares that curses stop with you and blessings begin with you. It is inheritance reshaped, destiny rewritten. Incense becomes armor. Your home is clothed in light, your walls wrapped in invisible fire. Arrows of envy cannot strike, curses of witchcraft cannot land, and spirits of poverty cannot survive in the purified atmosphere. What once seemed unstoppable begins to crumble, not by force of hand but by law of spirit. Those who rise consistently at midnight see results others call miracles. Doors that were shut suddenly open. Peace flows where chaos reigned. Enemies scatter without reason. Breakthroughs arrive unannounced. It is not magic, it is alignment. Incense works because it resonates with the principles of divine order. This is not a practice for the timid. It is for those ready to stand tall, ready to claim their authority, ready to command the night. Incense is warfare, and when you rise at midnight, you prove that destiny cannot be stolen from you. So hear this, from tonight forward, you are no longer powerless. As incense rises, every curse that has shadowed your life begins to scatter. Words spoken in malice lose their strength. Witchcraft arrows fired against your name turn back upon their senders. Poverty spirits that chained your steps are suffocated in the fragrance of holy fire. I speak this over you now, altars raised against your destiny will crumble. Sacrifices made to block your path will backfire. The incense you burn will speak louder than the chants of your enemies. Fear has no more room in your spirit. Nightmares will end, strange presences will flee, monitoring spirits will lose their grip. From tonight, boldness shall clothe you. You will guard your home with fire, and never again allow witchcraft, curses, or poverty to root in your atmosphere. This is not survival, this is conquest. Burning incense at midnight is more than ritual, it is a wake-up call to your soul. It reminds you that you were born with authority, designed to command your night, destined to shape your lineage. You are not here to beg, you are here to decree. And as you decree, the heavens enforce it. Every puff of smoke is rewriting your destiny. Every flame that touches incense is hammering altars of darkness. Every declaration you release is sealing your freedom. Witchcraft collapses. Curses dissolve. Poverty flees. This is the hidden secret, the weapon disguised as fragrance, the midnight key that silences darkness in minutes. So rise, woman of light. Rise at midnight. Light the incense. Speak boldly. Command your atmosphere. Protect your children, guard your home, secure your lineage. Because in your hands is no ordinary fragrance, it is fire, it is shield, it is sword. And when you burn it with faith, nothing in the realm of shadow can stand against you. This is the hour. This is the awakening. Take the key, strike at midnight, and watch the chains fall as your destiny opens.